Have you ever, really stopped to think about how you're spending your time? Not just the clock ticking, but the actual fabric of your days, your weeks, the whole life. What kind of picture, what pattern are you actually creating with all those moments? That's the really powerful image we're diving into today.
Thank you, Mike and Mika, for that wonderful introduction. All right, my brothers and sisters, let's get to it. Seeds of grace, a harvest of regret. Mama and Papa with hands worn and true sowed seeds of grace like the morning dew. Principles living, truth steady, firm pace, rooted in kindness, a love filled with a loving embrace. The wisdom was gifted, the lessons was laid bare, a legacy offered that's beyond anyone could compare. What did I do with that precious rare share? Did I nourish its growth? Or did I cast it in the air? The burden of what ifs, did you really care? It seems looking back, a tempest of strife, years slipping by, a squanderous life, a burden of what ifs, a heavy dull ache, for paths left untrodden, for choices I would make, each down a mischance, each sunset a sigh, a tapestry woven with threads of goodbye. The phantom touched a life I could claim, haunted me like whispers calling my name, a stark reflection of what is the same. Yet, perhaps in its folly, a purpose rang true. For the life that I fashioned, for all that I went through, my shattered mosaic, my spirit so frayed, it became a stark lesson, a guide grim, and made me unafraid. A vivid example of what not to reveal. A cautionary tale whispered for all to hear. I stand as a monument, a truth to impart the cost of neglect and a broken heart. Now I have no idea why I'm here, what I am, who I am. A fool's life of regret. But you can wonder, spend your cash. I'm gonna get it together, and that you can bet. I'm the Reverend Point Blank. All right, Mika and Mike, go ahead and break it down.
We're looking at some profound insights from a truly special source, The Loom and the Thread, A Life Woven with Purpose. It's by the Reverend Point Blank.
Yeah, so our mission here in this deep dive is to sort of unpack this incredible metaphor. We want to pull out some practical, usable wisdom for living a life that feels, well, full of meaning. And this is really custom tailored for you, the listener, sort of a shortcut to understanding these deeper ideas. Okay, so let's get into it. The Reverend Point Blank kicks things off with this really striking image. The silent weaver, time, a ceaseless loom, unspools its thread from the cradle to the tomb.
Yeah. And what's so gripping about that, I think, isn't just time moving. It's that it's irreversible, right? Once that thread unwinds, well, you can't just wind it back up. It really hammers home that constant forward march. And the source then describes our moments, each one, as a golden filament, both frail and strong, which, immediately makes you ask, hey, what are you doing with this thread? It's precious, but it's also fleeting.
That idea of it being frail and strong, that's fascinating, isn't it? It feels like the Reverend is saying, okay, it's fragile, a moment can be gone in an instant, but wow, the potential packed into it is huge. And that leads right to the next bit. Each sunrise is a fresh spool whispered to start, a choice presented at that time to the beating heart. This is not passive. It's not just happening to us.
No, absolutely not. It's an active, daily decision point. And it's a tough one, actually, because let's face it, it's so easy to just let that thread sort of unspool, without much thought. The Reverend really challenges us to grab hold, to engage with that daily offering of time, to treat it like a deliberate choice we make.
Okay, so if time is this thread, constantly unspooling, how do we actually start weaving purposefully? Instead of just, letting it drift, the Reverend Point Blank says we need to grab onto that shuttle with a knowing hand and craft the life that you have truly planned. What exactly is that knowing hand? Is it just being deliberate, or is it something more, like skill or intuition maybe? Knowing your values?
That's a really good question. I think it's definitely more than just deciding to be deliberate. It's about aligning what you do with some kind of clear inner compass, your direction. You see, when the source says, when purpose guides and diligence takes hold, it connects the dots. Your daily grind, your efforts, your diligence need to be linked to something bigger. Your values, maybe that's the pattern you're trying to weave. And your consistent actions, that's the actual weaving itself. And that's how the thread unwinds in stories brave and bold. Your life starts to look like a coherent story, not just random stuff happening.
Right. And it's not only about the big picture, the grand narrative, is it? The Reverend also really zeroes in on the power of the small things, the everyday stuff. Each stitch a labor, love, or truth expressed, a seed planted, a weary soul impressed. That sounds like the compound effect, doesn't it? Little things adding up.
Precisely. Yeah, like investing, exactly. Those small, consistent stitches, they're not just isolated bits. They build on each other. They create something much, much bigger than you'd think. The source puts it beautifully. The hours, though short, become a fertile field where wisdom blossoms of bounteous harvests yield.
So our focused attention, our intentional actions, that's like the soil. That's where the real growth, the deep understanding, that's where it happens over time. And the payoff. What's the ultimate result of all this focused, disciplined effort?
The Reverend point blank paints this picture. A legacy woven, strong against the breeze, of moments honored, lived with joyful ease. It sounds like it's not just about what you achieved, but the quality, the resilience of how you lived. For disciplined hands, though tired they may be, build castles solid for eternity.
Wow.
Yeah, it suggests the real legacy isn't just, say, what you leave behind materially, but the strength of the character you build, that inner peace, those castles solid. I don't think they're necessarily literal buildings. It's more like a life built on integrity, on meaning, something resilient that holds up when things get tough. It's the satisfaction deep, a quiet grace, to know you met each moment face to face. That part's key. Being present, being accountable for how you use that moment, not looking away.
Okay, but then there's the flip side. What happens if we just don't? If we ignore that call, what's the cost when time is just tossed aside? The Reverend point blank gives us a really stark warning, like worthless dust upon the rushing tide. It's a powerful image, almost terrifying, really. Moments just swept away, gone.
It is terrifying. And the consequence described is just chillingly clear. The thread unravels, thin and spiritless, a tapestry of stark, unmeaningless.
That's not just emptiness you're seeing. There's an absence of coherence, of meaning. The result of indifference is this life that lacks substance, lacks a clear story. It just unravels.
And you can really feel the sort of emotional weight in these lines, too. The urgent whispers fade to a hollow sighs, as dreams unchased now dim before our eyes. It's about all those chances we let just slip away, isn't it? Each wasted dawn, a chapter left unread, a word unspoken, so nothing said. That silence of what might have been, it's profound. It really speaks to the internal cost, doesn't it? Like betraying yourself, in a way. The Reverend emphasizes the important thread, untouched, unknotted, left to fray and tear, a heavy shadow etched by deep despair. So it's not just about what you didn't achieve externally. It's about that persistent, heavy feeling of lost potential. That shadow casts over everything. It's the weight of all the choices you didn't make.
And the absolute worst of it, the source says, is the harvest lost, the potential unfulfilled, a bitter echo when the soul is chilled by grim reflection and a needle's injection what might have been. Had we but chosen what once was, now life is frozen. That phrase, a needle's injection, wow, that really hits you, doesn't it?
It really does. It's so sharp. It perfectly captures that sudden, piercing moment of regret, And the chilled soul, the life is frozen. It conveys this sense of finality, paralysis almost. Start looking back at what could have been instead of what you actually did create. Just stagnation.
So, okay, that brings us back to the call to action, really, for you listening. The Reverend point blank urges us. So heed the hum, the loom's eternal song, and wield your thread where you truly belong. It's a choice right here, right now. You can step into that role, the weaver.
Exactly, because in every single tick of that clock, that loom, the source reminds us, a sacred trust resides, might be the very essence of your journey's rods. It's about seeing every single moment, not just something passing by, but as foundational, something profoundly important, holding immense potential.
So the ultimate takeaway really is make every moment a deliberate art and weave a life of purpose from the very start. Now, this whole deep dive, all these ideas, they've been inspired by that really profound poetic work, The Loom and the Thread, A Life Woven with Purpose by the Reverend Point Blank. We absolutely recommend you check out more of their insights. You can visit wejuschillin.com and definitely find the Reverend Point Blank on all the social media platforms too. So as you think about all this, maybe leave you with this final thought to chew on. If your life were a tapestry right now, today, What stories would it be telling? And maybe more importantly, what new threads, what new colors or patterns are you ready right now to start weaving in?